Gary. He's not at a meeting.
That's a quick meeting. Yeah. That's good one. We can be on by 5:30. It's also golden. Oh, no, I'm finished. Really, everything's so cold. This one doesn't. Oh, it's spoiled.
The return of it.
Okay, sorry. Technology. So Pat's not here, Robin's here, Donna's here, Kathy's here. Is Doug here?
Yeah.
Okay. Mike is here, Sue F, Fiona, John, Ellen, Dan, Kemper's on a Zoom, Marissa's here, Jeff Putnam's here, Shelley Rinaldi's here, John Gazio is here, Zach Maldenti's here, and Rachel Vines is here. Did I miss anybody?
Maybe me, Ed. I did say Casey.
Casey?
I might have missed it. Casey's here.
Casey, I got, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Ed, can I make the motion, but with an amendment?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Agenda. Not to agenda.
No, I'm sorry, forget it.
Never mind.
I'm out of practice now.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I approve the agenda.
Fiona? Second,
Ellen.
Ellen, okay. Any discussion? All in favor? I opposed, okay. Approval of minutes?
I'll make an approval with an amendment to the minutes
Okay,
where it says that I made a motion. We're gonna change it to Ms. Capabianca made a motion to direct SLAM to continue developing construction change documents and authorize a GMP increase not to exceed the amount of 150,000 for construction costs excluding SLAM design fees for the construction tech shop.
okay. Is there a second?
I'll second Ellen.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor? I opposed, okay. Any public participation? No. Okay, Dan, you're up.
Good evening, good afternoon, light evening. Work continues. I have with me John Gauricio, who we've met once or twice previously. He's going to assist by taking you through that documenting and reporting video system that we have. It's called Open Space. But briefly, I'll start with just an overall project commentary over the course of the month of January. Now we're partway through February, but through the course of the month of January, work continued. I'll just quickly hit that in area D. We started the exterior windows. They're actually in at this point. We've proceeded with metal stud framing through the kitchen area, and now we're roughing in the walls. In area B, our primary, where we started our construction, the focus has been on the exterior of the building. So curtain wall systems at stair 3, which is curtain wall 5, which is a big 5-story at the backside facing Route 8. That frame is now in, and glazing will finish tomorrow. That glazing represents the last of the exterior glazing on all of B and A, with the exception of, if you're looking at the picture, there's a couple pieces of plywood. Those are panes of glass that had to be special ordered due to size. And so those aren't in yet. We're still waiting until about the 3rd week of March before the fabricator gets those out to site. But what that does for us, on area B as well as area A, is it creates a tighter envelope. We have now all glazing in, with the exception of the loading dock curtain wall. Which is really important for us as a building and as an envelope, because we're moving through finishes. In area B, we've gone now all the way up through, all the way from the first floor to the fourth floor with drywall, and we're proceeding with ceiling grid. Ceiling grid actually started on the fourth floor. The follow-up trades are working through, putting in registers in the ceiling, speakers in the ceiling. Fire protection will start dropping fire protection heads in the ceiling, but that's the focus of the work in area B. As you look to the left on the page, or area A, sheetrock finish all the way up through the fourth floor. Got a couple of pieces left to hang on the fourth floor, but the team of drywallers have now moved off of area A, fourth floor, and come down to area C, which is the academic arts area behind the auditorium. So I've jumped a little bit through quickly. Overall, the painter is following behind the taping. As I mentioned, the grid installation is up to fourth floor on B. He'll start down on first floor in A. And then follow his track up through the four floors of area A. So for noteworthy items is the sequence of the work goes from area A. We've now bypassed the lower level of area B, where the construction tech classroom, engineering lab classroom is, the pre-K area is. We're letting that lie dormant, and the drywall trade has moved from the fourth floor of A down to that academic arts. We'll move through the central portion, the single-story portion of the building, through the academic arts, through the high school and middle school cafeterias, and then through the kitchen area. At that point in time, we'll either be simultaneously putting in the B lower level, because all of our MEP changes will be in place, or we'll be moving into E1, which is continuing around the circle of the board. So, let's see, other noteworthy items in area E and F for middle school. Ongoing work did continue with the in-wall rough. So the trades have, with the exception of plumbing, a little bit more of the hydronic work that still has to happen. All of the in-wall rough is complete in areas E and F, which puts us in a great position for when we build out the rest of the space. We'll be delivering through area, through the academic arts area, the kitchen servery, and the gym for your January occupancy. And E1 will be also completed. But the rest of E and F is where we'll be as contractors and continuing the drywall operations once we get to that point in time. So that's really a stop on commentary. Specifically, why don't we let John jump through his presentation, and then I can answer any questions on what work is going on.
Just for the quick recap again, this is a fun little system we've started using. It is a 3D camera that sticks on my hard hat. I walk around and it kind of pairs me with our drawing. So our model pairs with pictures, and then we can give you real-time pictures and compare them to the past. So like Dan Higgs said, the majority of our glazing is in on areas A and B, other than a few verification in fields. Egg's favorite thing is our new curtain wall that's been installed. Same thing, you'll see the majority of the glass. Otherwise, these two pieces were just verification in field, the width's dependent. So those have been ordered and will be put in place to complete that curtain wall. Moving around the building, we have our curtain wall framing going up and glazing. Now I have it somewhere, there we go. These are all relatively recent, within the past week or so. So as we walk down the building, we can see.
So the area on your right will be a sidewalk up at elevation, so that you can walk from the parking lot to that first curtain wall, and that's the entrance to the Board of Ed. So where that large yellow piece of equipment is, will actually come up to the elevation of the first floor, and people will be walking in that set of doors.
And from there, you'll see all the glass that's filled in this one curtain wall. As we keep moving down, click around,
Like how you picked a nice sunny day there, John.
It's all part of my plan. You'll see that the majority of our windows again are.
Curtain wall 3, so that is stair 2. And it goes from the lower level all the way up to the 4th floor.
From there, we'll keep going around the radius. Looking to get to the right one. What you'll see now is stair 3. The frames are actually installed. We're starting to put glass in starting today. I believe, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, Tuesday, Wednesday is when they'll be complete with that.
Oh, I said Friday.
Friday.
Oh, man.
Okay, so one of us lied. Needless to say, they're continuing down the line. Where you see this curtain all over here. That's your main high school cafeteria. They want to be putting glass in that directly after this.
Yep, so the last big curtain wall on facing Route 8 is that curtain wall 7-8, we call that. That is the high school cafeteria.
Now I can kick over to the interior of the building.
We got a little snow. You're looking at in the distance there on the left, that's the middle school entrance. Not as large a curtain wall system, but again, a curtain wall system facing towards the parking area.
So this is actually your view. As soon as you walk into the high school, this will be the entrance. What you're seeing, this wood, if you're following my cursor, is actually blocking for our main storefront or your entryway. So you'll walk in, there'll be a transaction window to the administrative side of the office. And as soon as they're buzzed in, any person will have to go into the admin office and then can be released into the school through 2 sets of doors. So they'll walk in and back out. As you can see, we have drywall and I think our first 2 coats of paint.
Yep.
Moving around. Most of these windows are installed, so we're bringing a lot of light into this area, which is definitely nice to see.
Yep, principal's office on the left in the corner office.
And going back out the main corridor, is the interior view of all that glass. Really allows a lot of light in.
All right, so your primary pedestrian passage when the kids are coming in the main front door. This is the environment that they walk through.
Moving forward, what you'll see is this rounded soffit wall that's actually going to be replaced with another storefront, and that will be your career center.
Yeah, so that's a curved, section panels of glazing that isolates that room off the main lobby.
Look down, go into other areas just to show off finished paper. We're getting into area B now, so I'm actually going to kick off the floor and continue in A just to show you that. As we move up, there's slightly less done because we started the sequence at the top. You can see all these workers are very happy to see me with a weird camera on my head. It's definitely one of their favorite things. So once we get into these rooms, this is a typical academic classroom in area A2, so 2nd floor of building A. Again, with that glazing, actually what you're seeing here is some of our windowsills. They're starting to block in for those and start to install in some areas. That's just one of our final products that our final finishes coming in.
Yep, casework contractor mobilized the site starting with Corian sills. So we have Corian on all the window sills throughout the building. And then next week is a big week for us. He's starting millwork installations. So when I mentioned that the building envelope, we wanted to ensure it was tight, the timing of our enclosure has worked perfectly with the scheduled first delivery of casework on Monday. And so for those who've been in the building, we're using temporary heat to control the space temperature. We now have a much tighter environment. We can monitor the temperature and humidity control in each of the spaces much better and control it much better as casework moves in.
And continuing on, a 2nd floor, what you're looking at is a life skills classroom that actually goes into the suite. So a hallway off the main, including, I believe there's washer dryers in this room.
And stove.
And so. And then a few classroom spaces, pretty large spaces, seeing a lot of light. Right on the start of the radius in building A/B, right on the edge. So keep it going. I'll move up to a 3rd. Now what we're looking at is actually your media center. So this will be your large curtain wall over the entrance of the high school. What is a drywall soffit, and then it will be acoustical ceilings all the way around. Where we're physically looking at standing in right now are two small breakout areas with different monitors on each hand so that students can use that space to study, gather as a group, what anything they might need. And you'll see the main area over here is more of a sit down, tables for open group work, and what will be your stacks over in the back corner. Here are two offices, I believe one storage, one's an office. And that is over there, kick over. Actually had,
So it was exciting for us when the curtain wall glazed at curtain wall one, the big one over the main entry. It was pulling down all the temporary plastic protection and letting all that natural light into the space. It gives everybody a much better understanding and feel for what the conditions will be. So there, we're on A3, Painter is on, he's on A3 already, isn't that? Yeah.
so this won't show it because they're about 2 days old, but it's no problem. Completely sanded, and now our painters started in there. So we keep going up. We'll go to our favorite office in the whole building, our superintendent's office.
It's
Pretty nice view with that curtain wall open, so over here we'll actually be covered with what they call mullion mates or another solution. It just covers that end cap into the window condition. So that's why they left out the time.
What John's describing is the drywall stopped short of the curtain wall at this point, and that's because that temporary protection was there until the curtain wall was installed. So now the drywaller returns to tie that into, and curtain wall mates the wall system to the backside of the mullion so that people can't poke their head in your office there by poking their head around the wall.
He's gonna miss where he is now. I think he's probably gonna be sad.
So then what we can do is kick over. I'm gonna move into area B. We'll start on the 4th floor and go down. So we'll be getting closer to finishes as we go along. But one of the nice tools that I spoke to before is we can show you kind of snapshots in time. So if I split screen it here, and I actually kick back, this is just a couple of weeks. You might not notice much of a difference as there's been some tie-in, but if we even go back a little bit farther, this is about 3 months. As you'll see on the left-hand side, with sanded painted drywall. On the right hand, we're opening studs, still installing some of the plumbing and insulating. So in less than 3 months' time, we went from open cold form metal framing, opening studs to seemingly a pretty closed-in area. And again, this is only halfway through our main building. So to keep kicking down. All right. Down to. Go. Now we're in area B. We just walked down stair 3 to what is the 3rd level. Same thing. Some of our areas.
Science classroom on the right.
And there's pretty much go. Right. So this is actually your physics lab. What we've had installed is this unistrut going across this metal bracing. Is a pipe grid in which you could hang weights, any equipment off of to run physics experiments. So that's something that actually got pre-engineered by our general trades and has started to be installed in both. I saw it in the high school and the middle school physics students.
Right, the unistrut all lives above the grid, above the ceiling, and then pipe grid itself is exposed hanging below ceiling. In those spaces, we also have cord reels. They can pull down drop power, for the kids in the experiments.
One more we'll go into.
I saw grid. That's what makes me excited.
So this is one of your main faculty classrooms. Again, you'll see that our grid is in. And we'll start dropping MEP and any above ceiling equipment in there. And this is 3rd floor B, so we'll have more finished product as we move down. With that being said. Now, second floor. Science classroom, let's go to it. So this is another one of your standard classrooms. All that in there.
Nothing to work at?
Yep. I believe so, yeah, pursuit is all over the place. There you go. Just to give you that split view again. About. Gets back to the right date. About a month. We started to get most of our ceiling grid installed. And I believe even some of our duct work had been labeled, as you'll see. And overhead MEPs continues on. That, let's go down to the first floor, which will be our farthest long section. One of our favorite rooms, based on the actual design, foods lab.
It just seems to attract attention. The food lab has partitioned short walls, you know, that the equipment can back up to table working surfaces. It's just kind of a neat space. So there, I think MEPs have dropped and connected registers. There's a few lights that are installed in that ceiling. The discussion with the building official, he's okay with putting in what we call tile cuts. As the acoustical tile contractor moves through these spaces, he likes to get the hard stuff out of the way, which is cutting all the tiles that go against the perimeter walls. So you can see in that picture, the perimeter tile cuts are installed, registers are connected.
So
Yeah, a little bit left to do in the ceiling, but the space now generally turns over to casework installation. He's got 2-week window to put in the casework on the B1 first floor, and then we'll turn that space over to the flooring contractor. So we'll be rolling floors here. We're going to start with the tile in the bathrooms with actually the flooring contractor. Tile on the walls, and then we'll move, and then we'll mobilize the LPT finished floors in the rooms.
thing, just to give you the feel of a slightly different classroom, this are some of the art spaces, art studios. Again, just give you that quick view. Between days. This is about a 3-month view. Not the best picture, but.
Your tape, but
Taping, and everybody was set up different spots, so now this is one of our farthest finished areas. Again, with our first 2 coats of paint and grid out. Definitely something interesting to be looking at.
You said first 2 coats of paint, how many alternate coats of paint are there?
there's one more. So you get a prime and a first coat before we put the grid in the space. And then at the end, actually, after marker boards, we go with the final coat of paint. You get 2 plus a prime.
So now we're actually in B lower level. Again, we kind of skipped over this area with some of the classroom layouts, but our biggest push right now is the mechanical room and getting all of that equipment set up to the best of our ability. So what you'll see. Better spot.
So you have a, it's the 15th, today is the 15th, so it marks just about 2 months that the mechanical contractor has been dedicated a 2-man crew in the mechanical room itself. He's got all his hydronic piping, his hot water hydronic piping installed. Still have some chilled water piping, pumps are set. The electrical contractor now is given his first rights. He gets to control the space effective Monday to now power up the pumps, and he's got his panels and his guts installed, but now he's going to conduit over to the actual devices, the motors on that equipment. We're marching along quite well to target 4-1, fallback 4-15 for energizing the building and actually starting those pumps. Big push on the hydronic side, on the mechanical systems of the building, that to complete all the piping to the extent of our occupancy. Then there's a process of flushing chemicals go into the pipe, clean any type of scale or pick up any small amounts of sediment that's in the pipe. And then the pipe gets flushed, gets tested again, for water quality, water cleanliness. Might do that twice. It's not unusual that we have to go through that process twice. And then we'll actually, turn pumps on.
So what you're seeing on the screen is about 2 to 3 month difference in all of the work that's went on in there. So equipment was moved in, piping down to them. Like Dan said, we release the
I
electricians
like the
pretty
before
soon.
and after. See the empty tubs, we call those are electrical panels on the right hand side. Those are empty tubs, as I call them. And then in the picture on the left, you can see the panel breakers, the guts have been installed in those panels.
Thing just to give you the quick view. And not much else is gone on around here. Really just stopped in this area, other than a few of the panels. I couldn't get into our main electrical room when I was walking just because it was locked up. I didn't bring the keys that time, so that was my fault. I'll definitely get you some updates there, but otherwise, just kind of a stagnant area for the time being.
The classrooms are stagnant is what John's mentioned. So that's the engineering tech space. Beyond is engineering lab. Again, we suspended work down there, kept the crews moving, kept the crews working. And that's the portion of the building that is in current design for how to fit the desired wood shop equipment in that space.
Moving back upstairs, drag everyone into cafeteria space. There.
So yeah, it really changed the feel as we opened up, as we walk now through area A, you walk through area B, and then you enter area C, D. Here you're looking at the high school cafeteria. That's the last curtain wall we were just looking at, 7-8. That'll be a storefront. No, that's not a storefront. It's an open space that you walk directly into the caf. But the framer's been in there heavy in the last month. Got all of his studs up. Put up some sheetrock, servery. Now you're looking north towards the servery, corridors on your right.
Into the next spot. Closer to the back of house servery. Not the best pictures, but what you're looking at is the walk-in cooler and freezer. I believe it's freezer on your left, cooler on your right. One of them is bigger. So those guys came in, started installing those. They come in as panels, 2 metal panels with some foam in between, and they kind of sandwich together like little erector sets. I bump back real quick.
As you recall, we put in the hoods, our food service contractor owns the hoods over the cooking lines. Those were completed. Now you can see the picture of the stainless hanging. And then about a week later, their team of cooler people, different subcontractor for them, came out. They set the boxes. They have 2 run refrigerant, 2 split units, or 2 condenser units on the roof. And as we look at how sequence works, once we're done with the sheetrock, the in-wall and the sheetrock on the academic arts side, we'll flop over to the high school, middle school cap and kitchen.
From there, our next big focus is our middle school gymnasium. With that being turned over, the masonry or interior CMU was complete. And now our painter is actually completely done with the elevation we're looking at of what is block filler. That's that grayish paint that you're looking at. That just kind of fills in some of the porous block and any imperfections. Makes it a nicer finished product. So we actually it's completed the wall on our right and including the face wall here.
Yep, so temporary protection in the windows, roofing on the structure. That area is now dry. Roofers actually remobilized to the site to pick up the small roof areas on the perimeter of the gym. That work's ongoing currently.
Moving just to show you, because we have the auditorium scaffold up, I can't walk in this area. So that's a dance floor that goes all the way up, nice and flat, about 10 feet off of the finished roof elevation. And that allows our guys to get up there and actually work on any MAPs or anything hung from the roof deck. So for the time being, there's one too many pipes in my way to walk around where the seating actually is. But I will keep walking through what is the actual stage that you're looking at now. Our drywaller has gotten up there, thrown up his initial board, and I think they've done two layers back there. So they did that just to get it out of the way before everybody else goes in and puts all of their overhead work in there. But we're starting the process of AV equipment and all of the boxes that need to be installed where they're going.
So I was asked a specific question during the walkthrough that I did Saturday plus a Saturday ago. The proscenium is 45 feet wide. Casey asked that question. Yep. So you're looking out towards the auditorium. So yeah, ongoing work in there. Beyond that is the academic arts. That's where sheetrock is ongoing. And then to the right of that is area E now.
Give you that quick look, what Dan was saying, drywall started in these areas. I don't have a great walk in there, but let's see those separate classrooms, which we're calling the academic arts. With that being said, I'll kick into E and F really quick. Again, this is more fallback work in the sense that we have contractors that are in there early. Most of our MEP in wall, so our outlets, power and data, including fire alarm, seem to be installed already. As we walk through, most of our crews have a couple of guys there and picking away at some work that wasn't necessarily needed at the moment, but they had the manpower and the equipment, so they started putting that in.
Yeah, the electrician took advantage of an open space and was able to pull crews from another site to run through an in-wall rough. So having all of the in-wall rough complete all the way up through EF 1, 2, 3 is really beneficial for what is a demand on the electrical contractor. At this point now, he's got to be piping to mechanical equipment, he's got to be piping to motors, he's got to be working in interior finishes in the classrooms. Not having him stretched thin elsewhere is a good position to be.
That being said, we'll keep moving down. Now we're on second floor, E and F. What we're looking at is a loading zone towards the entrance to that building. So towards the face of the F building. And again, same status. Most of our in-wall rough has been installed very far ahead from schedule in this area. The things that we have that work started early. So not too much to dwell on. Just to complete it, we'll go first floor of E and F one more time. You'll see your elevator picks are all set. Covered with the safety per the manufacturer's request. You can just walk down that line. We're seeing actually the middle school maker spaces on the left, which I believe we're still doing the temporary locker rooms.
Changing room. There are no lockers in the space, but it is where the kids will change to go to the essentially from January occupancy through your June release of 2025. The two rooms, the two makerspace rooms, temporary uses to change.
That being said, we'll kick over to the middle school entrance. Some of the administrative offices, which are right here on the left when you enter. Again, a lot of in-wall rough has been done. Nothing too crazy. I believe this is actually one of our Torrington residents walking by me who works for General Trades. I don't know where he snuck around. Lost in one of the pictures. That's the main building entrance. Does anybody have questions or anywhere they want me to zoom in on real quick?
Yeah.
Just one question. Do you notice that the ceiling grids stop short of the window walls in most cases? Is that where the cooled water chilling goes, or is that just because the windows are taller than the ceiling, it would look awkward?
It's actually, you're almost right. It's where the radiant panels, so it's where your hot water lives. So against the exterior windows, against the exterior wall, there's a cavity that's 24 inches wide. You can see the soffit there in that picture.
Yeah, there it is.
Between the soffit and where the grid terminates, up about 8 inches is the head of the window. And that's where a 2-foot wide hot water panel just provides radiant water. There's no forced air in that condition. It just falls, the heat falls. Window wash, essentially. The chilled beams are further out into the space and hang in the grid. They're wrapped in blue there.
Thank you.
I have a question, just curious, the new walk-ins and freezers, do you know if they have the newer safety features, like if somebody got stuck inside, there's an alarm? That can be pressed, I'm just curious if they,
I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of an alarm that's located within the cooler itself, but the door is not lockable from the inside or from the outside. You can't, unless you can't open the door.
Right.
Push on it, you have the ability to exit the cooler no matter what.
Okay.
So nobody can get stuck in there. I'm not aware of an alarm that somebody pushes.
Mhm. Thank you.
The coolers are alarmed, they have control panels, they're keeping track of temperature. They do send alarms if the temperature falls out of range.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Thanks.
Let's see, did we hit on critical items? Did I miss any? Zach being my guy in the field. Anything that we want to touch on, the water on the exterior of the
Water main
building?
is underway.
Yep, so we're looking at permanent connections to the building being finished on the water side. I'm going to say it's around March 1st. And then we have a process where, again, it goes through a pressure test. All new water piping on the exterior of the building gets chlorinated, and then tested that there's nothing bad in the pipe. The water comes back clean, and then we can flush that pipe again into the building and then make connections to the building. So that, again, the coordination of timing is working well in that we expect water delivery to flush these pumps, or flush the system around March 15th. And that's all sympathetic with, a little earlier than we need it, because we won't be actually energizing the pump until the 1st of April. We do the 5th of April, we do the 10th of April. But that's triggering on Eversource. I think I've mentioned to a couple of people, we had large concerns over whether Eversource was going to step to the plate, because they hadn't set the poles over the summer that we had hoped they would. But through some assistance and some cooperation that we got from Eversource, poles are set. Eversource has been on the property several times now. They're returning again next week. Yep. And there's a primary pole, so they have new conductors that they're bringing onto property to put on the new poles. And then it's a matter of pulling power to the backside of our building into the switches and the transformers. Getting good news, exceptional news from Eversource today. I'll let you deliver that news.
They don't foresee the transformers being an issue. It's pretty much work out a date with them and they'll be there.
There was a shot over the bow from Eversource that they had a concern over transformers are not stocked in their yards. And when you don't have one and they need one, they're having supply chain problems. But we've been talking about transformers and getting transformers set and set aside for our project for almost a year now. And through some conversation, we have really strong confidence that we will get the transformers earmarked for this project, and we will get them, by March 15th. So that is a large weight off my mind, because you can't control that particular entity. It's much harder to control. Exterior wise on the building, a lot more framing is going up. You can see what I call the picture frame around your curtain wall 1. There's a lot more framing and studs installed for the rain screen system. Panel contractors have been on the site for a couple of weeks, putting in that back system, that framing system and insulation. They're almost ready to start actually hanging the panels on the structure.
Veneer. So there's the veneer on the auditorium itself.
Right, not in that photo, but yes, we looked ahead at, whether it would benefit the project to spend a little dollar on temporary heat and start the mason now rather than March 15th to complete the veneer on the exterior. So not in that photo, but existing in real life right now. Masonry is going up on the sides of the egg, headed towards the roof. Just benefits the job to see him off the job. And to get that veneer off.
So for those that,
I love the guy, but he makes a mess.
so those that love the terracotta look, that's been kind of
Yep.
like the look for a long time.
Yeah.
Take a look at it now because it won't be there much longer.
That's right, so that white, ground face CMU block that exists on the outside of the radius is the product that goes on the face of that auditorium and is in progress. When I say small cost, we're haggling over, $8,000 per heat. 8,000, maybe $9,000 per heat. Depends how quick it is. Again, overall, the schedule has not changed. We have not had any impact to delivery date. The two areas of concern on schedule remain the design of the lower level. And then we received the designs on what was the E1 SRO change, as well as the temporary classroom that we're going to create in what was the instrument storage room for middle school equipment. Is now going to become a health classroom. We've got the documents. I'm pulling pricing from the trade contractors and expect that we'll pull that information in before we get to we're about 5 weeks away from being at a point to sheetrock that area of the building. So that is what we've been doing, and that's what it looks like. I'll jump from commentary to what I should mention on a couple of cost and schedule items. These are in your packet, but also individually handed out. The cost and schedule items. I'm at a point where I'm close to the Mason buying in. Again, I'm trying to get down to a solid and total number. He has a small labor associated cost with doing the work in the spring as opposed to last fall as originally contemplated. But we're not far apart now. I'm going to beat my estimated cost there. I mentioned the program changes that I just spoke to in the lower level. Information for your record. At one point, the cost had ballooned up from estimates on what that whole change related to the lower level, as well as moving the faculty dining, creating some offices out of spaces that weren't offices, had ballooned up to about 250. We've already spent 24, I have another 50 in, and then 145 for the remaining. So slightly less than the balloon up to the 250 number. I speak to the CNC space change, moving ahead at a relatively small cost of 12,000. I speak to chiller platforms only because it's to clarify, we took money back from the roofing contractor as we had assigned the work to him for the platforms that you physically go upstairs and stand on a working platform for the 3 large chillers that live on the roof. We took back his 76,000 because it's not the effective way to build that. And I thought that I could buy that through the structural steel contractor by haranguing them. But it turns out it was not in the structural steel detailed drawings that he bid off of. So I went outside of that vendor and I went to the miscellaneous metals contractor who came back with a cost of 17,000. So in the net, the city got 76,000 back. They're paying 17. I'm happy with the negotiated final cost of that. The 239 is related to that again, E1 cost. So it's CE 239, CE 246 are all related to those work items that I've spoken to in E1 in the lower level. The largest hit to the cost of the project in the last month has been identified as acoustical sealant, that in the documents and the way that I assigned contract work, I didn't pick up on the actual pipes that, the drywall contractor has to acoustically seal the pipes on the outside. And then there's something that goes inside. And I didn't buy that piece of caulk that goes between the raceway and the actual sleeve that goes through the wall. So there's a lot of them. And so I'm letting everyone know there's an $80,000 cost. It's a buyout thing. It's got nothing to do with SLAM's documents. It's just I didn't assign the work at the time I bid. We didn't pay for it twice. We just didn't pay for it at the time we did. So bad news on my side. The rest of the document speaks to what is critical, and I guess I emphasize very strongly how important it is that the decision was made at the last meeting that we are changing the construction tech classroom. That kind of caught me off guard. It's gonna have an impact. Gonna spend that $150,000, and we need to get the documents. I know SLAM is on it, they're working through it. The CES was on site today. The electrical side went all through their equipment again to try to figure out exactly what power requirements are necessary. They're still working through, and I can let Kim speak to it more, but I know they're working through the mechanical design relative to that. And then the last part of my presentation is just what is critical for us is identified to you. Through the areas of A and B, we sit in good shape, but so the critical path just runs through as it would normally run through the finishes. But as you can tell, the finishes are coming along, the ceilings are going in, casework, flooring, we're in comfortable shape to receive FF&E, which I think Kim can speak to more. Last items I'll speak to is percentage complete from a schedule analysis. We're at now 51%, 64% for ABCD. Is a good jump from last month. We had 56%. That wasn't handed out individually. This document is buried in your packet, so you can look at it. But giving you the overview, we went from 56 to 64% complete in the schedule analysis for the primary portions of the building. The E1 and G1, or the E1 and G areas, we went from 41 to 51. Areas E2, E3, and F are future delivery. Percentages came up in those areas, but 40 to 49%. Good progress through the month. Financially, we are at 51% as well. So I look at the O&G overall application for payment, and remarkably 64% complete. What was that about? 64% complete by schedule analysis and 55% complete by cost. So we're running ahead, staying ahead of the trade contractor base in that regard. And last item that I typically report on, the big hit to the difference in CM contingency funds month to month, 1.93 million last month, 1.81 million this month. Again, $80,000, which represents the lion's share of that change, is related to that one cost item that's been entered into our system. If your cost is healthy, your progress is healthy, power is healthy, mechanical systems are ready to come online. We did get that shift in switchgear and air handling equipment have moved out. They moved out 2 to 3 weeks. We did get bad news that the chillers, which were supposed to be delivered in March, they told us the end of May. We've then gone back to the manufacturer train, and they have now said that they're going to do better. They don't know if they're going to do 2 weeks better or 3 weeks better. I don't know if we'll see those chillers in the first week of May, second week of May. But having those pipes, having those pieces of equipment running is paramount for us if we want to have humidity control in June, which we do. Want humidity control in June. So that's I know I've taken a lot of your time. I think it's important that you get a physical sense of what's happening on the job site. We are still running 150 plus people, and work is still moving around. So sorry, Ed, I took a long time.
That's okay. Okay. Any other questions for Dan before Jenny makes his comments?
I just have
Yep,
one
Fiona.
Just, was there analysis done to look to see if we could potentially consolidate and share office space instead of building all those new offices? We had left it at the last meeting. I think that you guys were gonna look into if we could potentially share office space rather than building these new offices.
So any change that was made in terms of those office spaces, we have went through and reviewed.
And the final is what we kind of decided that is needed for all. So I don't know if that answered the question, or you're.
Well, just because we're building the new offices with a
Yeah,
clause, so I wasn't
Well
sure.
past building.
Yeah.
Well, those are the sheet rock.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so as far as the space plan change that came out now, probably almost 5 months ago. Just segregated a couple of spaces. It created, I think only one new office on the third floor of area B next to, so it was one large office became two smaller offices. Not recalling any other actual new offices. We did take, as part of that change, there was several spaces that could be utilized for offices that were storage rooms. So what was added in those spaces were just electrical outlets and data drops.
Any other questions? John, you have any, you have his reports? Very thorough. Anything else, John?
Since we last met, Tri-State's been out there. They've been monitoring and testing for mortar, testing, masonry, steel, curtain wall, fireproofing, fire stopping, everything's going well. I think there's one outstanding item and it just requires a re-inspection. So in the testing front, things are going along and continue to go along well. As far as my items are concerned, as I go out there weekly, I think we're at 18 items, 4 items dropped off the list. Like I've said before, that 18 items is a fraction of what I normally see. So that's encouraging and it continues to move along well out there. So I see no issues on a quality front.
Thanks, John. Any questions for John? He's been out there diligently. And if we have any questions, Mario and I, we meet with John and going over some things that we may miss or that we don't understand. And John clarifies them for us, which is great to have him on board. Okay. Next is phase 1 and phase 2 application, certificate of payment. You have the documents. I'm looking for a motion to approve $6,245,033.03 to O&G, and you have the list of all the contractors and what they're getting. Can I have a motion for that to accept?
I'll make the motion.
Fiona,
Second.
Kathy? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed. Okay. Next one, is the PCOs for this month. Let me just get it out of my, here. No. Okay, the first one is for a spiral stair enclosure. That's near the auditorium. We felt that we needed an enclosure because of security reasons. That's PC 138. The next one. Just hold on one second. PC 143. We had to add gas shutoff for the prep room. I don't know if you want to say anything, Dan, about that.
No, there was, just to clarify a little bit, so there was gas that served both the classroom and the fume hood in the prep room, and having separate gas controls was something CBS thought was appropriate. CBS being your mechanical designer, so they added separate gas valve controls. And then they also, on an architectural front, wanted to move the valves into the wall so that the gas pipe didn't have to come out of the wall and into the room space. So we bought recessed trim kits. So there's about equal cost from both the plumbing trade and the electrical contractor who provided the revised boxes.
Next one is a credit to our contingency for retaining wall deleted. The next one, 152, is Marlite auditorium panel substitution, which we have a long discussion about. That's a credit to our contingency. And the last one, 153, is additional caulking at cast stone heads. You want to discuss that one, Dan?
Yeah, I think we spoke to this back several months ago when we were making the decision to choose to do the work. In the base bid documents, and not unlike a lot of construction, the joint that's above the cast stone head over the window, between the cast stone head and the brick that's above it, there's a mortar joint. And because the two products are dissimilar, they expand at different rates. So the decision was made to use a sealant joint instead of a rigid mortar joint. So that required the caulking contractor to run around the building, essentially everywhere as a sealant joint. The mason, once the decision was made, he did what's called raking out the joint, which means after he put the bricks in, instead of thumbing the joint and making the mortar flush to the face, he raked it back and left a void there. And then the caulker went back and caulked it all up. So we did some negotiating. I didn't get too far on that one, honestly. Landed pretty close to where it came in at.
Can I have,
Yes.
It's obviously flexible caulking, I can understand the concept between the difference. Is there a contingency with that caulking contractor come back in a year after things shift to make sure that that seal has not been broken?
No, and it's not something that would typically happen. There's multiple expansion joints around the building. All your brick veneer is broken up into sections so that they're not, there is building movement that happens. But sealant joints don't typically fail. If they, if they did fail in that condition, it would be a failure on his part and we could bring them back to place.
okay, could I have a motion to approve all the PCOs that were listed?
I'll make a motion, Ed. So
Okay, Robin, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Fiona. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed, okay. Next, payment of invoices, you have them. Innovative Engineering, $6,567. Motion to approve. Who's that? Armand. Second,
I'll second.
okay. Donna. Discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed, okay. Next one, BL Industries, $8,835.75. Can I have a motion to approve? Fiona, second? Who's second? Kathy? Yep. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed. Last one, Slam, $49,145. Have a motion for approval? Fiona? Thanks. Second,
Second.
Armand. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, okay. Next, you have, I gave you, sorry, 1 second. The Torrington, January newsletter. Again, we have the kids going through the building, just the progress of each month. What happens with the trades and the kids, which is a great thing. So, that's great for, everybody. So that's that. We're still working on starting in March for, that program. We do have 11 children's, students signed up. We just have to work it through their where their schedule is and work it through with the contractors and Yolanda Rivera from the trade unions. So we're still working on that, but 11 people have signed up. 11 students have signed up for that program, which is 120 hours. Again, they get $500 if they complete it for their tools and $500 if they need money for their driver's license. So that's working out very well. We hope to have that done. Okay. Next, comments for the good of the order. Marissa, we'll start with you over to your side.
We miss you, Ed.
I'll be back, though. I miss you guys. My wife's right here. I really didn't want to stay, tell you the truth. But, oh, hi, Al. Don't worry. But, I did it for my lovely wife of 52 years. So we hope to make it 53 in April. So I don't know.
Good move staying in.
Oh, yeah. Robin, anything?
No, thank you. Also,
Ronaldi, anything?
All set, thank you.
Okay, Fiona?
Just thank you, guys. You make our job easier. Appreciate all your work.
No
You
decisions.
too, Mario and Ed.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Ellen?
We know. Thank you.
Kathy?
Great meeting, thank you.
Yeah. John?
Good meeting as usual.
Yeah, good. Mike?
Great meeting. I like the pamphlet.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Sue F?
Great meeting, Ed. We can't wait for you to come home.
I can't wait either. I'll be there. Don't worry. So, Mario? What?
All right, couple of things, Eddie.
Yep.
We're gonna have a tour for the building committee, March
Yep.
16th.
What
That
time?
day.
10?
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zach.
I'll send a note around.
Another Zach day.
Another Zach day. We toured last week with Zach.
Mario, what day was that?
16th of March.
16? Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Right after the Ides of March.
maybe we'll go out after. 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
A couple of things have come up, Ed.
Yep.
Ed, did we order a safe under the furniture package?
Say that again?
We need a safe. Tara needs a safe for all the money.
Okay, I have to check on that.
All right, so just Ed, similar to what normal people would have in their house, not like you have a big bank safe.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Right, a walk-in vault, right?
Yeah, it's under my bed, so don't worry.
So just a safe that we can bolt to the ground.
Yeah, okay.
He has all the athletic money and all the money.
Yeah, any activities and stuff.
Right,
like
and
that
if she
sort of
Right.
leaves her desk,
Okay,
anything happens.
got it.
So that's one thing, if we could buy that through the furniture.
Yeah.
A question came up about this existing store in the school. That's in the existing life skills classroom. I went to see it today. I don't see why we just can't continue to keep it right in the life skills classroom.
Yeah, okay.
It's just- You walk in the classroom and it's a counter.
Yeah, it's a counter, that's all. Yeah,
That's got candy on it and some t-shirts.
right. And they have,
I don't see us having to do anything special about that. So
No.
we'll just leave it right in that room.
Yeah.
However, we don't have a place for the bank, for the credit union. Kemp, I worked with Zach this afternoon. I'll send you something.
Okay.
It's gonna be right opposite the cafeteria.
okay.
I've also asked Brian to check with the credit union to see if they're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
Mario, what is this, a space for them?
I already told you.
Yeah.
It's an area D. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I've never
Okay.
installed an ATM machine. This will be a first.
Yeah, he's gonna get the specs on the ATM machine too.
Maybe you can
Yeah.
ask the stuck in the mud.
Okay,
trying to put
that's
it on
that.
that.
Right.
I think that is all, Ed, for now.
Okay, very good.
I'm not gonna be believing.
Again, we won't hear from the grant until second or third week in March.
Correct.
Okay. Dan, are you out? You finished talking, right?
Just one thing I didn't mention is both CES as well as IES, CES, your mechanical and designers and electrical MEP. And then IES, your commissioning agent, they are on the site once a month. CES was on site today. They are providing oversight. They're looking at the work. They're checking quality control. So didn't want to leave those guys out. And then we've also had tours for what is a student program, I think that is like business related or Future Leaders of America.
Yeah.
So we've had tours with additional students, all the way from 9th grade to 12th grade that have come through and got an opportunity to see the work under construction. And then today we had another one of those ONG builds.
Yeah.
That right up in here refers to. And today's event was with SLAM, had representatives there, CES had representatives there. And they had an opportunity to speak with Amanda, who was on site as well, to provide some, just let's get these kids an understanding of how big of an industry this is. There's more to construction. If you love to build stuff, you don't need to be a guy that cranks the bolts tight. You can be a guy that is an engineer or a guy that buys out stuff,
Or a gal that.
a gal that does all sorts of stuff just like that.
I do better.
Yeah. Yep, so having an opportunity to teach or see these kids and have them involved is great. Nothing else.
Right?
Yeah.
We got a few women in the job.
Yes, we do.
And Dan, the students, Brian sends his regrets, but he did send an email to all and copied everyone late in the game. Students absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
They were so happy to see the building and really wanted to send their thanks to everyone on the team. So I just wanted to pass that along. The email came in a little bit.
Excellent. Nothing else?
John,
Nothing new for me either. Thanks, everyone.
Zach, you okay? Yeah. The guys do a great job for us. Armand, anything?
No, thank you. Good meeting.
Donna?
I think certain things are really becoming stunning, other than at the front curtain wall. I only wish that we had thought to ask about a design to make the middle side approach as stunning. But it's gorgeous. Couple of things. One, I was interested in the teacher feedback tour. I'm assuming it went well.
Yeah, all in all,
There.
yeah, well, I mean, they have preconceived notions because they're looking at little tiny drawings.
Yeah.
On a paper, like, oh my God, my room is too small, and then they will stand in it and they say, oh. Is it big?
Well, that's what I was hoping.
Yeah,
Okay, once we were there.
Yeah, we had one incident with the, well, we just had one incident. About, yeah, we won't name names. But they had some concerns about their space, but their space is gonna be in the auditorium. Make a long story short.
The other thing, I don't know, I don't think it's a big deal, but we used to have a standalone website and somebody tried to access it and it was defunct. I mean, our minutes and our agenda are gotten through the Board of Ed eventually, so I don't think from a freedom of information standpoint, that's a problem, but I didn't know if it was a requirement with our contract from the state to have.
What do
it.
you mean? When did you try to access it? And
I tried it last week and then I tried it on my way here, but there was a specific website for the building
Yes.
committee and then it
Right.
says expired on it.
Oh.
So I don't know, but we
okay.
can get to our agendas and minutes through a different way. But again, I didn't know if it was didn't want to jeopardize anything with the state and our reimbursements
Yeah.
with needing a separate one at this point.
We can look into that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I've never heard of it being a state requirement.
No, we'll have to look into it because it was on. I haven't looked at it in a couple of weeks. We had the
Yeah.
pictures and all of that stuff, so I'll have to check it. Casey,
I'm good, Ed. Thank you.
okay, who's next? I can't see.
It's Jeff. All good.
Jeff. Anything?
Oh, good. Thank you.
Doug, nothing. Thank you for all the hard work.
Okay, and who's next? John?
I'm good, and I think you're gonna like the end of the middle school when it gets, right now it's plastic, but when the glass goes in, I think you'll find it just as interesting as the other way.
Great.
Kemp, you have anything?
I do. John, thanks for making that comment about the end of the middle school, because I agree with you. It will be just as stunning. I wanted to thank ONG for the opportunity for our team to participate in the ONG builds. I know it's a very rewarding thing for us to go and give back to the students. Jeff Zaperi was also there, who is one of the architects on the project. And he is actually a Torrington High School grad, so he was very pleased to be able to go and give back to his alma mater. So thank you.
I just can't wait to get back. Okay, Al, okay, don't worry.
Let the minutes show.
I'll be back and, I miss you guys. I don't like Zooming. So, I want to thank Marissa and Sue Ferguson to get all the stuff ready for me. I appreciate that. And Mario, picks it up. So that's a thank.
Mario.
Yeah. And, one other thing, Rachel, I forgot Rachel. Rachel, you have anything? She'll be here.
Thank you.
All set? Okay. Rachel's working with me for the FF&E and working on the phone systems and so forth. Just let you know, we Kemp and I have been dealing with the state, which is unbelievable on FF&E. We worked today for about an hour to get all the and Dan helped us get all the we have to submit 4 different forms before they approve the FF&E. Everything is fine, but they want these new forms fixed. So we finished that. Kemp and I finished that today. He's gonna put it in the state forms and so forth. Just let you know what's happening with the state. On November 1st, I put in payment number 9. It was supposed to be due December 15th, 45 days. We didn't get it because they made a mistake. We didn't get it till January 5th. January 8th, I was putting in the new one. We could not do it because they didn't have Mike Wilson's password. It took them over 20 days to get a password for Mike Wilson. Mike, you're tough. I don't know. But we finally got the password on January, I think, 23rd, 25th. Michelle Dixon, who they have a new person there now running the thing. And Michelle Dixon can now talk to districts. Before, she was not allowed to talk to districts at all. Spoke to her on the phone. As of the 13th of February, they approved the next payment. Hopefully that will be transferred tomorrow to the city, which is about almost $10 million, so we can pay contractors. But maybe next time I'll show you. I had 700 pages I had to send them for one of the payments. So we're getting there. Hopefully the states will be a little easier and get money. So next meeting, March 21st. Also, I'll send a note March 16th about the tour. And I appreciate everybody coming again. And we'll see everybody on March 21st. Have a motion to adjourn at 6:14. Fiona, second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. You'll see my smiling face there. Soon.
Good.